Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome to the Peter Doocy and Karine Jean-Pierre show. I'm going to show you some clips here between Peter Doocy from Fox and Karine Jean-Pierre, the current press secretary for the White House, i.e. President Biden's spokesperson. Only thing about her that's any decent at all is Karine Jean-Pierre is a very, very cool name. Other than that, this is a junior high school, at best, high school girl that it just acts like one. It's incredible to me how far she's gotten in life. It really and truly is. So without further ado, there's going to be 3 parts to this. This is going to be part 1. Let's watch, and I'll comment along the way. Let's watch the Doocy and Karine show.
I could have walked away and not taken your question, Peter, but I would take your question.
I'll make it worth it.
I'm sure you will.
Different topic.
Okay.
How come migrants are allowed to come into this country unvaccinated, but world-class tennis players are not?
You're talking about which world-class tennis player?
Novak Djokovic.
Now, it's funny. She pretends like she doesn't know who this is, the tennis player. But later she talks about the U.S. Open tennis rules concerning vaccinated people. So she knew damn well who he was. So it's all bullshit.
So as far, just since you asked about him. So visa records are confidential under U.S. law. Therefore, the U.S. government cannot discuss the details of individual visa cases.
So if visa cases, yeah, that's the tennis player. He's talking about illegals. So you're saying the rules apply for disclosure of medical background if you're caught illegally here? You should be deported immediately. Immediately. But it's funny how she skirts around it. It's a mystery to me after listening to her for at least 20 minutes. How in the hell does Biden still have approval rating in the 40s? Let's listen on.
Due to privacy reasons, the U.S. government also does not comment on medical information of individual travelers as it relates to the tennis player. Look, the questions regarding vaccination requirements is I defer you to CDC. This is a CDC requirement for.
She's deferring it to the CDC. The deep state bureaucrats, and there's no more bureaucratic division than the CDC. So inquiries from Fox or any other news organization concerning this topic will just get the runaround and get a complete line of bull. Let's listen on.
Foreign nationals. This is something that they decide. This is something that is up to them. The U.S. Open and their participant protocols, I'd refer you to them. They have their own specific protocols as well. So they're 2 different things.
But how is it 2 different things? Somebody unvaccinated comes over on a plane. You say that's not okay. Somebody walks into Texas or Arizona unvaccinated. They're allowed to stay. Why?
But that's not how it works. Like we actually no.
I know that that's not what you guys want to happen, but that is what is happening.
But that's not. It's not like somebody walks over and that's not how.
Exactly what's happening.
How? Then that's. I'm not sure if she's lying through her teeth or she's just ignorant. I didn't say stupid. I said ignorant. Does she really believe that people just don't walk across the border? They have by the millions and millions and millions, more under her boss's watch than any president, to my knowledge.
Thousands of people are walking in a day. Some of them turn themselves over. Some of them are caught. Tens of thousands a week are not. That is what is happening.
So let me just lay out what we have done under this administration.
And when she doesn't have an answer to a direct question, you refer to your notes and give a canned answer that has 0 to do with the question.
We have installed new border technology and set up joint protocols with Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human traffickers. We have already made over 3,000 arrests in the first 3 months of launching an unprecedented anti-smuggling campaign with regional partners. We've secured record levels of funding for the Department of Homeland Security. We've put in place dedicated immigration judges so asylum seekers can have their cases heard faster. We've expanded labor pathways, including H-2 I-2B visas and through the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection.
And she has that. That's a long canned answer. She's doing it on purpose. She's eating up a bunch of time so that way she can say she can call it the next person.
President Biden brought 20 world leaders together to manage increased migration flows across the Western Hemisphere. By contrast, core to the prior administration, immigration strategy was to build a wall, and they couldn't even accomplish that in the 4 years. And they also, by talking about building a wall, which would have taken billions of dollars from veterans, billions of dollars from schools.
Well, as we see it right now, it was $5 billion for the wall that President Trump wanted. And they said no, it was a waste of money. Just the city of New York now is saying it's going to cost them $10 billion, twice as much, not for the whole country, just for one city. $10 billion. Then probably another $6 or $8 billion for Chicago, maybe $10, $12 billion for Los Angeles, and on and on and on. Only a Democrat would say spending $5 billion is a waste of money, but spending $100 billion is helping migrants and not wasting money. It's amazing to me.
Which is also a policy that just does not work. It is not that simple. It's not just that people are walking across the border. We have. Maybe she believes it. Maybe she believes these people are just magically appearing in Chicago and New York and all the cities around the country, big and small, that they're overwhelming border towns in Texas and Arizona. How does she think they got in the country? Are these people live in that bubble where they only associate and hear things that absolutely agree with their ideology and their progressive mindset? Is that what it is? Do they really live in another country than normal people like us? Are there really two countries in this country? I begin to wonder. We have a plan in place. This is not like switching the lights on, right? This is going to take a process. We are fixing a broken system that was actually left by the last administration. And
there you go. There you go. It's always Trump's fault. It's always Trump's fault. Immigration was down between 80 and 90% when Trump was president. 80 to 90% down. It's always Trump's fault. It's a broken system. We got dealt a bad hand, and we're doing the best we can. We're catching maybe 10%. But those people that sneak in, that gotaways, as they call them, they're not walking into the country. They're flying on magic carpets. They have their own little planes. You know what? These people are so delusional. And the crazy part is they are in charge of the largest economy and the most powerful military in the world. That should scare the crap out of all of us.
As it relates to the tennis star, that is totally different. That is a different process. That is the U.S. Open that he is part of. And
now, how did she know it was the U.S. Open he was participating in when she asked who Peter Doocy was talking about, and she knew damn well who it was? Does she have a little thing in her ear and somebody's feeding her information? I wouldn't be surprised.
There are CDC federal guidance that he needs to follow.
But why is there a CDC requirement for people that fly here as opposed to people that cross the southern border?
Look, we have talked about Title 42, right?
This has nothing to do with Title 42.
It is. Title 42 is a CDC imperative.
And you guys got rid of it because he said the pandemic.
That is not how it works. It is not every.
No, the way it works is we follow the law when it's to our advantage, and we tell everybody to piss off. We're not following the law. Take us to court when it's to our disadvantage, and that's been the Democrat way for 100+ years.
Title 42 is very much in place, and that is the process. So there is a CDC provision for folks coming through the southern border.
Now here's the question: the director of the CDC works for who? The director of the CDC was appointed by, wait for it, the President of the United States, and I believe you have to go before Congress to be approved. The head of the CDC works for President Biden. That's the scam. We're going to put it down to the CDC when all the directives are done at the approval of the president. If you work for somebody that can fire you, like the CDC director, then you work for that person, period. If they can fire you, that's your boss. It works like that in every other part of the world.
It is not just for tennis players. Migrants have also a CDC guidance that we have to follow, which is Title 42. So
the CDC guidance is if you get caught in this country unlawfully, you get deported. That's the way it used to work.
So that is not the case. That is factually wrong.
Now let's check out some more exchanges between Karine Jean-Pierre and Peter Doocy. I still love that name, though, even though she's a dope.
The Secret Service is paying $16,000 a month now to stage near Hunter Biden in Malibu. Who's paying for that?
That's a question.
Who's paying for that? Now, before she answers, what do you think she's going to say? Is she going to say, I don't know? Probably not. Is she going to give the correct answer? Probably not. Is she going to put off and say, ask the Secret Service? Well, which one do you think she'll say?
For the Secret Service.
Okay.
There you go.
Hunter Biden is reportedly selling art to pay for his $15,800 a month rent in Malibu. How can you guarantee that people are not going to be buying this art to gain favor with the president?
That is a question for Hunter Biden and his representatives.
It's a
I know. I hear.
Now, think about this for a minute. If this was President Trump as president, and this was Donald Trump Jr., and he was renting a house, and it cost the taxpayers $16,000 a month for security, and he was selling paintings to pay for his $15,000, $800 a month rent, they would be screaming up and down the people that bought the paintings are buying influence very cheaply, I might add, to get to the president by helping his son. He sees that as a favor, and most fathers and men do. They try to return the favor when somebody's good to their kid. Now, just for all you Trump haters out there, think if the role was reversed, what would you be thinking? But somehow, in the cult-like mind of the anti-Trumpers, the things don't apply equally to everybody.
I hear.
At the White House, we know
I
that
hear
one of
your
the art
question.
buyers got a job from the Biden administration. Can you guarantee that there's
I
no
hear.
quid
I
pro
hear your
quo?
question. I'm not going to get involved in this. That is a question for Hunter Biden's representatives.
I'm not going to get involved in this. I'm not going to answer your question. And look at the smirk on her face. Like, you can't make me answer that. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
But we know that from a Hunter Biden associate now that he sold the appearance of access to then Vice President Biden. Are you confident that he has stopped doing that?
That is a question for Hunter Biden. And
If
his
somebody is
representatives.
selling
Well, let's reverse it like I said. Are you sure that they won't buy influence from President Trump? Well, that's a question you'll have to ask Donald Trump Jr.'s representatives. I can't answer you, nor will I answer you.
the appearance of access
That
to the
is-
White House,
that
that's a
is-
question for the White House.
No, that is your I don't know how you're perceiving
That's my
that.
reading of it.
No, it's not how he's perceiving that. It's how anybody with a rational brain perceives it. That's not in the cult-like state. That whatever's against Donald Trump, I have to be for.
Sworn testimony. Thank you. Thank you, Karine. Thank you, Karine.
Now we get another exchange.
As a candidate, President Biden didn't say there will not be another foot of wall constructed that except what was appropriated in 2019. He said there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. So something changed. What?
You want us to break the law.
Something changed? Millions and millions of people have crossed the border unlawfully. It's killing your poll numbers. And she has the nerve to say, you want us to break the law? You do it every day. Every day. Giving away money to students to pay their tuition is unlawful. But they did it anyway, and they got slammed down in court. And that's what they do. We'll do what we want. So sue us and win in court. We won't do the right thing. We'll make you go through the process 60, 90, 120 plus days to finally get a judgment from a panel of judges or a judge, a federal judge, and by then our policies will have already been done unlawfully. We could let millions into the country, and then 6 months later, when the judge finally rules on the individual executive order, millions have already crossed the border, and they go, "Oh, we bad. Okay, we'll stop." And that's what Democrats do.
Is that what you want? You want us to not comply with the law?
I'm not.
But you want us to not comply with the law. You want us to not be in administrations that follow the law.
You'll follow the law when your poll numbers are in the toilet. That's when you'll follow the law.
Do this all the time. The student loan forgiveness program. You went to court to fight for that. If this is such a problem, building 20 miles of wall, why not just go to court?
We went to Congress. The Congress appropriates the funding.
Why not
Congress,
fight them more?
Congress appropriates the funding.
We went to Congress. MAGA Republicans who we hate, that we think they are they're going to tear down democracy and rip the rights of minorities and LGBT plus people, whatever, the alphabet people. That same group of Republicans that we hate, that my boss says is a disaster for this country and a huge fear for the future of this country, we went to them and they said, well, no, you got to build it anyway. And they went, oh, okay. Do you believe this stuff? Do you really? I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't.
We asked them to not use that funding for that particular purpose. They denied it, and now we're complying with the law.
If you have to build a border wall, but you don't think that it's going to work, then once it's done, are you just going to tear it down?
I'm not getting into hypotheticals from here. I'm just telling you what I can tell you from here. The facts are.
You said yes.
What the facts are. So this one is what the facts are. Well, here's another exchange concerning illegal immigration.
That when it comes to illegal migration, you've seen it come down by more than 90%. Where did that number come from?
It was.
Because
I was
CBP
speaking.
is telling us the number is.
I hear you. I'm about to answer.
136,000 people more.
I'm about to answer
this fiscal
you.
year so far.
If the dramatics could come down just a little bit.
Dramatics come down a little bit. That's what a high school girl says, or junior high school, really. That's the way they act. They're immature and narcissistic. Overeducated, overpaid children with a severe, maybe even fatal case of narcissism. It's amazing to me. And then the explanation she gives is so much bull, I can't even tell you.
If the dramatics could come down a little bit.
What's dramatic about asking a question about...
Okay, I'm going to answer. So I was speaking to the parolee program. As you know, the president put in place a parolee program to deal with certain countries on ways that we can limit illegal migration, and we have seen the data has shown us that it has gone down by more than 90%.
No, here's the way it works. You just cross the border unlawfully. You're caught. You'll get an appearance ticket and you'll be part of the parolee program. So now you're not considered an illegal crosser. We don't put that in the stats. And the people that turn themselves in willfully to get an appearance ticket, they don't count them as crossing the border unlawfully either. So let's see. I commit a burglary. I get caught. I get a court appearance date. That burglary doesn't count as statistics of crime for that city. Well, that makes zero sense. And that's what they're doing. They're paroling people, and over 90% never show up for their court date. That's a fact, and everybody knows it, including them. It's a way to skate around, and they can put, well, illegals are down now by 90% because somebody is caught. Look, says, I have a court date in 6 months. You can't deport me. Okay, well, they don't count as an illegal. They're just fudging numbers. They're just calling things by different definitions, and that's the problem. How can you communicate with someone of a progressive Democrat when the definitions of almost every single English word has a different definition than the general public? It's like sitting here and I speak English and they speak Swahili and nobody knows what each other is saying. But the people that speak Swahili are in charge and we can't ask them questions. It's insane. Oh, there you have it, folks. There's the Peter Doocy and Karine Jean-Pierre show. Brought to you by Pfizer. Just using the word Pfizer, I'm sure is going to screw this video in the algorithm. But look for a couple of more episodes. to this absolutely insanity. I mean, Jerry Springer, rest in peace, would be very proud of it. Until next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.